busting a Paua poaching ring on Wellington's south coast.
Yeah, we've got one diver out at the moment, so second diver just coming out now.
Do you want to come down to Kilburnie Police Station and be put under arrest for obstruction?
Fish and the Navy target the West Coast Hoki fleet.
Gotta get right in. Why are you throwing this away? You cannot dump quota species.
And rescuing a seasick crew on a stricken yacht.
They're getting pretty tired and cold.
If possible, get that guy that's on the back that is seasick inside.
Fish has been tipped off about a suspected Paua poaching ring on Wellington's south coast. So a team of fishery officers is heading out on a major operation to try and catch the poachers in action. Fishery Officer Jerry Anderson and a surveillance team are high on the hill above Cave Bay. And Jerry is soon alerted to an oncoming vehicle.
Lost sight of it, but it's definitely moving, probably right underneath me now, over.
Copy. They've been seen diving at this point on several occasions.
Very dark green, four-wheel drive, not quite sure.
Copy. So yeah, we just basically sit tight and observe whatever they do.
Just leaving the creek bed now, back onto the beach.
Copy. Parked up right in the middle of Cave Bay, just preparing to go for a dive. Two gearing up in wetsuits.
Yep, copy.
It seems only 2 of the vehicle's 5 occupants are heading into the water, which could be significant when it comes to the size of their catch.
And just from the size of the bag, you can make a rough estimate of whether it's legal or not. But also them coming out with a bag each and then driving out and saying that all 5 people collected Paua, which would entitle them to 10 each, instead of just the 2, which would only allow them 20. So it's important to capture that it was just 2 divers catching that Paua. Yeah, we've got one diver out at the moment, so second diver just coming out now.
Copy that.
Both had approximately half full catch bags, just continuing observations and seeing exactly what they have got, and whether they do anything sneaky with it or just throw it on the back of the truck.
But Jerry isn't quite expecting what happens next.
The diver closest to the water has just put his hood back on.
True, yes, too.
Might be going in for a second shot.
With one of the divers now back in the water, the chances that he'll exceed his 10 Paua limit are high.
One has gone in for a second dive. Yeah, we're just holding fire, see what he comes out with this time.
Woohoo! 3 days.
Once again, the diver exits from the water with a partially filled sack of seafood.
Look to have roughly 10 Paua in the bottom of a blue drum with the other gear on top. John from Jury.
Now with the cargo loaded, the suspects are making their move.
When they pass you, if you could relay that on, so that they've got an idea at that end.
Yep, sure. Thanks, mate.
As the suspect vehicle heads away from the beach, back out on the main road, there's a reception committee waiting. The police pull the car over and find a sizable haul of Paua, so they hand the case over to the crunch team, Di and Adrian.
Are you guys happy to hang around with us for a while?
Hang around for a while.
Yeah.
No worries. They're quite fast. Yeah, they're no problem.
Oh, good. Okay, that's excellent. So how many of you were diving today? 5? Okay, so you say all 5 of you been diving? All right. Well, Adrian's just going to have a count. He'll measure them, and we'll see where we go from there.
There are around 50 Paua in total, but the suspects are sticking to their story that they all went into the water, including the young boy.
You were diving today too? Yeah? How many did you take?
Some detailed questioning from Di, and the boy's story starts to unravel.
They threw them to you. So you weren't actually in the water gathering them? Don't lie, or you'll be in big trouble. Sticking them in the bag? Yeah, you weren't actually taking them off the rocks? Okay. So you weren't diving, so there's actually only 4 divers today? The little fella just told us he wasn't diving. He was just putting them in the bag. He just said he wasn't. Who do I believe, him or you?
Us 4.
You 4?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Have any of you guys got identification on your driver's licence? Yeah? Yeah, I'll have a look at it if you don't mind.
But not all of the suspects are prepared to cooperate.
All I'm asking is that you just give me your details, okay? That's all I want. I'm not trying to make you angry, I'm just trying... Good, well, excellent. If you know the law...
Every Saturday. Stop us every Saturday.
I don't stop you every Saturday. No, I don't. Okay, listen to me. I don't know who you are. If you won't give me your details, I will arrest you for obstruction. Do you understand that? Do you understand? Okay, so give me your details then, please, sir.
I'm not telling you my details.
All right,
I already tell the police.
do you want to come down to Kilburnie Police Station and be put under arrest for obstruction? Because I will do it. I don't care if it's not fair, it's the law. All I'm asking you for is your details, your name, your address and your date of birth. That's all I want, okay? All right, what's your surname?
Round 1 to die.
Yep, okay, that's fine, we can do that.
And after consulting with her boss, she's about to land the killer blow.
See you later. Bye. Things are going to get ugly, I think, mate. Okay, fellas.
What the suspects don't know is that M-Fish has video evidence showing exactly how many of them were in the water.
And so we know there were only 2 of you diving. We don't believe the young fellow was diving. He's told us he wasn't. We're going to take his word. So basically, what's going to happen now is the 2 divers, if you can come forward and tell me who you were, you'll be getting infringement notices. If you choose not to do that, all 4 of you will be getting an infringement notice for excess power. Okay, so who were the 2 divers today?
All of us.
All of you? You sure?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well you'll all be getting a $250 infringement notice today for excess power.
If you're going to give us a ticket, so we need to see that video, you know.
And because it seems that the men may try to defend the case,
Take the lot.
there's even more bad news. M-Fish is seizing all the power and all the dive gear. Needless to say, the news doesn't go down well.
We go dive for our own tea for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And now you take all our food for tomorrow.
I know it's frustrating for you, but that's the way we're going to do it. That's the way it's going to happen.
With the evidence seized and the infringement notices served, the suspects are finally free to go, minus their catch and dive gear, and facing $1,000 worth of fines. It's been a long day, but the fishery officers haven't finished just yet.
So what we need to do now is go back to the ministry officers and photograph and count the power again officially. This job doesn't end when you have spoken to the bad guys. You have to go back and do all the behind-the-scenes work as well.
M-Fish's investigation into power poaching is continuing. Off the west coast of the South Island, M-Fish and the Navy have joined forces on the frigate Te Mana for a major operation targeting the hoki fishery. The aim of this mission is to ensure that the 30 or 40 trawlers in the fleet are playing by the rules.
Not so high definition, but I've got the range.
Owner is required, please. Get ID on him, please.
This is a New Zealand warship, channel 16 over.
New Zealand warship, just a moment. We will checking, just a moment, over.
They're talking to each other now.
It's our first boarding of the day down here on the west coast hoki fishery. It's the first one of the trip, so there's a lot of unknowns out there. But at this stage, the weather's good and everything's looking pretty good, so should be a good one.
Once the team's on board, they head for the fish factory below deck, and Craig spots something unusual.
This is offal, yeah? You want to tip it out? Well, so these ones here are stargazers. There, that's your ribaldo. So why are you throwing this away?
Sorry, I can't understand.
You cannot dump quota species.
Sorry, philosophy, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
You take it back.
Yep.
You take it back.
Yep. And now where do these go? We're into freezer?
No, eating is cook standby.
Are you going to eat these?
Yeah, eating. Yes, eating.
Oh. This fish had been packed into a plastic bag, going through and picking out all the bits and pieces, and subsequently been advised that it's going to the galley for consumption. It's a matter of getting through the language barrier first and making sure that what I think happens in this in this processing room is in fact what happens on board.
So do you get the feeling they've got something to hide, or?
No, it always seems that way when you can't communicate very well. And if they had anything to hide, they would have got rid of it all long before we came on board.
So far, so good. The first few trawlers check out fine. But that evening, there's an urgent call-out after the Navy chopper spots some unusual activity on a nearby vessel.
Okay, team, listen up. Okay, as you know, the helo went out earlier tonight. A short time ago, came across they detected discarding coming from the single discard chute, port side stern. They put the landing lights on the discard and they've been able to identify whole fish going into the sea, but they can't identify species. What we need to do is put a rib in near that discard chute and try and identify what fish is going into the sea. If it is hoki, then they have a problem, the vessel has a problem.
The stakes are high. If the trawler's found to be dumping quota fish like hoki, its owners could face fines of up to $250,000, and the vessel could be ordered forfeit to the Crown. Hundreds of seabirds hanging around the discard chute suggest there's a lot of fish. The question is, what sort? The officers get between the birds and the chute to try to get some samples. But all they're finding is scraps.
We didn't actually see any whole fish coming out the side of the discard chute, so we can't say. But the other team will go in now and speak to the pans and see if there's anything in there or evidence of dishing a whole fish.
On board, another team is doing extensive checks. Down in the fish factory, the officers have found no sign of any illegal activity.
Red cod, normal warrant and piles of hoki about to be processed.
Do we know what they were dumping?
Looks like heads and tails. As you can see, they've got the circular saw over there, de-heading, detailing. Obviously that's going out the discharge. Other than that, everything else looks good. It's going into packing, so nothing to worry about at the moment.
Okay, at this stage we've been on board the vessel, we've been down to the factory. Doesn't appear to be any problems down there. We have noted that there's quite a large amount of small hoki in the cod end and in the pounds in the factory. None of that appeared to have been going out the discard chutes. So what we would expect is quite a high percentage of small hoki to be declared once the processing's been done.
My factory, all okay.
She was pretty ragged out there tonight. Great job. Yeah. So get some sleep. Early start in the morning.
Over the next few days, the Fish and Navy team checks several more trawlers. They find nothing untoward on any of the vessels. But nevertheless, it's been a valuable exercise.
We've boarded 18 vessels, we've hailed another 4. Certainly I am absolutely delighted with the success of the operation to date. We've got good information out of that exercise, and it's going to be just a matter now of sitting down and going through all the documentation and having a look at what we've got and seeing where we go from there.
It's a blustery day on the Hauraki Gulf. The crew of Coast Guard vessel Alpha have received a report about a yacht in trouble, with 6 crew members on board.
Operations North Harbour, you actually...
We've got a young 88, mile and a half southeast of Tiri, with 4 people on board. They've got no engine and 2 very sick people by the sound of it, seasick. So we're just going to go out and transfer the people. We'll shadow them in for now and see how they go.
We're looking, probably projecting 3.5 metre swells out there. It's going to be pretty lumpy, pretty nasty, and just travel alongside them for this stage and see how they're going.
Yeah, Coast Guard, that's all copied.
Erica speaks to the yacht's crew on the radio, and with their coordinates locked in, they're on their way.
Everybody holding on?
Grey Bear from Coast Guard Radio. Coast Guard Radio, copy.
Erica goes aboard the stricken yacht to assess the problem.
Try channel 82,
Yeah, go ahead, Erica.
She confirms that 2 of the crew are severely seasick and the yacht's engine has failed.
Suggest that you try and get them to drink some water. At this stage, with these conditions out here, we're not going to transfer. We're going to shadow in.
Yeah, they're happy to sail, but they are getting pretty tired and cold. Over.
They can put more clothing on, just keep warm, keep their life jackets on. If possible, get that guy that's on the back that is seasick inside, if he's capable of doing that. Otherwise, leave him there.
Erica, do you want some power or something like that over there for some electrolytes for these guys?
That wouldn't be a bad idea, eh?
Right, we'll tee that up for you now.
The Coast Guard volunteers know that in these harsh conditions, the sick crew members could go downhill rapidly.
Yeah, we've got the guy off the back. Yeah, he's pretty cold, so I'll chuck him on him, over.
Yeah, I'll send a couple of vests across, just get them zipped up and nice and warm. This is usually quite a dangerous transfer sort of stuff, doing this, coming alongside boats in these sort of conditions. We try to do it as little as possible.
Yeah, point over ferry, supervising coming.
Go, mate. Grab a towel, dry off, buddy. There's towels down here, white towels. It looks like there's a guy that was sitting on the back before, that's the ill one now. Yeah. And there's one lady inside as well that's also sick.
The Alpha crew keep the troubled yacht on course.
You can come around to 192 degrees, 192 degrees.
Copy 192, over.
Yep, copy that. They'll take you straight into the leading light off Takapuna Beach. Current heading's fine. Yeah, maintain that course and heading.
Erica explains the cause of the yacht's problem.
Yeah, there's water in the fuel, in the oil.
And Greg reviews the options.
Option 1 is these guys continue where they're going. We take the 2 seasick people off and take them in, and the other 2 sail the boat back. Number 2 option was they can turn now and head down towards North Head and be on a reach, which is where they can sail with the swells and the wind and get down there a lot faster and probably a lot more comfortable than what they're doing at the moment. Or the third option is we go alongside. I put 2 of my crew on that can actually sail a yacht, and they will take the 4 people off, or 3 of them off, and take them back into West Haven and wait for the yacht to come down. So we're just waiting for those guys to reply back to us what they want to do.
Yeah, these guys are just happy to keep going what they are. Yeah, the skipper's really happy to just stay with his boat, same with his wife.
Yeah, okay, let's make a turn for North Head. You can make out North Head just on the distant horizon. You've got Rangitoto Lighthouse you can make out as well.
As evening falls, they sail on, but progress in the bad weather is slow.
So we've been out here for 2 hours now. Probably got about another hour to run to get to North Head, a little bit less probably. And then from North Head, we've probably got about an hour to get to West Haven. So in total, it's going to be about 4.5 hours.
Eventually, dry land comes into view, and it's a welcome sight for the relieved crew. With the wind dropping, Alpha will tow the yacht to its berth.
We're just trying to find something to tow from. There's, looking at it, there's no actual fixtures to tow. Once we've got all the sails down, we'll come alongside and fix the tow line to it. Everybody all comfortable back there?
Oh yeah, picture key.
Yeah, great. Just might try and push it up just a little bit more.
30 minutes later, the yacht is approaching its West Haven mooring.
We're going to get through the entrance here, and it will be a bit calmer, and then we'll barge them up. Barging is when we bring the other boat right alongside us, and we steer and use our propulsion of our vessel to put them into their berth.
The yacht's pulled closer, ready to be tied alongside.
I noticed the older gentleman had no colour in his face, had not been keeping up with his fluids, had been vomiting and was basically getting dehydrated. So I got some water into him and some electrolytes, and he got him sitting outside watching the horizon, getting some fresh air. And yeah, they come right, so they're a lot more chatty. They're all happy now.
As they move into the marina, the yacht's cruise ordeal is almost over.
Check the tow line out and hold on to it to break it. The job successfully done.
Without the motor, we didn't have any options. If this blew a sail out or rig came down or something, we were well in excess of sort of 40, 50 knots out there at times. So yeah, it was quite breezy.
Yay, Coast Guard.
As Alpha heads out to the next job, Erica has a surprise for the crew.
We got a nice bottle of rum. So I believe this is mine, right? No, I'm kidding.
Ouch.
That's for afterwards, of course. We won't be drinking on duty.